Hello friends, welcome to Acquire IAS. Today we are going to discuss location of the day, which is most important for UPSC prelims plus geography optional mains, friends, right? Geography optional as well as mains, friends, right? And it is simultaneously important for various other kind of competitive examinations. And we will glance this series into India and world, right? So you can call me on this following number 9640123412. You can join our Telegram channel in the same by the same name, that is Acquire IAS. You can type this in your Telegram channel, or else the links will be given in the description box. You can visit from there, right, to get various kind of other PDFs and newspapers. So you can check out on our Telegram channel, right, friends? So let us get started. So the quote of the day: don't compare yourself to others, right, friends? Don't compare yourself to others. A beautiful quotation, right? Beautiful quote, which is most important for every student while their journey in whatever the field they are, right? Because they will feel that my friend is purchasing very costlier things and I'm not able to do that, because his circumstances is totally different and his ambience is totally different, so he is behaving in that way and you are not, right, friends? But you will come on the certain day after some sort of time. So just be cautious about yourself, don't focus on others, friends, right? So don't compare yourself to others. When you did this, you will get demotivated. This is a directly proportional, right? Proportional to your emotional, friends, right? So be concentrate on yourself, right? So now let us see further. Cyclonic storm Nivar. It is explained sections, friends, right? It is explained sections. What is cyclone Nivar and what are we going to learn in this lecture? So we will see here what is cyclone Nivar, first of all. Second thing is location of the cyclone Nivar. Third is speed of the cyclone Nivar. Fourth is conditions to develop cyclone, right? Fifth one is which body is going to manage the cyclonic conditions or disaster management conditions. What is NDRF, right? What is NDRF? And next one is what is Sendai framework? What is Sendai framework? So how the Sendai framework is related to NDRF and how NDRF is related to cyclone Nivar. We will see all this in this lecture itself, right? So we will start here. Cyclonic storm Nivar is centered around 380 kilometers of southeast of the Puducherry, right, friends? Southeast of the Puducherry. For example, mark, this is our South India and this is your Puducherry. So east and southeast means this is your east and this is your southeast, right, friends? This is your southeast. Next, and 430 kilometers southeast of the Chennai. So where the Chennai is located, this is Puducherry and this is your Chennai. Here it is located in the southeast. So here it is southeast, right? 430 kilometers of the southeast. That means the cyclone Nivar is attacking in these format like this, right, friends? In this format it will attack. So from here it will enter in this way and it will directly attack these 2 points, right? So we will see in the map location in the map, so don't worry about the locations, friends, right? Next, cyclone Nivar is very likely to intensify further into the severe conditions into the severe cyclonic storm. So what do you understand by the severe cyclonic storm, right? What does you understand by the severe cyclonic storm? During the next 12 hours and is very likely to across the Tamil Nadu, Puducherry coast between the Karaikal and the Mamallapuram around Puducherry during late evening 25th November, right, friends? That is today itself, the 25th November. So be cautious, friends, around Puducherry and Tamil Nadu, friends, right? And the next point is a severe cyclonic storm with a wind speed of 100 to 110 kilometers per hour, adjusting to 120 kilometers per hour, right? Next, the severe cyclonic conditions. Here I have asked you, what do you understand by the severe cyclonic storm? So it is a wind speed, right? The wind speed, whatever, whichever it has, 100 to 110 kilometers, it is just then it is called as a severe cyclonic storm, right, friends? And NDRF is working in the close coordination with the district and local administration. So we will learn about the NDRF as well in this lecture. Next is, awareness programs are being conducted for all kind of citizens in the form of information about the cyclones, do's and don'ts, and information about the COVID-19 in the affected areas and prevention measures, right? And this awareness program is created by the NDRF itself, right? NDRF itself. So who is creating here the awareness program and do's and don'ts for the citizen information related to COVID-19 affected areas, that is NDRF, right, friends? Next we will see some locations, friends, here. So here we have discussed two locations. First of all, that is, first thing is Karaikal, right? First location is Karaikal and the second location is Mamallapuram. So where these locations are located, we will see around. Next, it is located first of all between Tamil Nadu and Puducherry coast, between the Karaikal and the Mamallapuram. So first of all, here you can see Karaikal and Mamallapuram. Here it is your Puducherry, right? Here it is your Puducherry and this is your Chennai. So if someone in some sort of examinations, if they says locate the locations, Salem locations in north and south order, Salem, Chennai, Puducherry, Tanjavur, right, friends? Tanjavur. So your answer should be, first of all, it's Chennai, second one is Puducherry, third one is Salem, and fourth one is Tanjavur. So CPST, right? Chennai first, Puducherry second, Salem third, and Tanjavur is fourth. So these kind of important locations as well you need to remember, right, friends? So next we will see further where are the locations of the Karaikal and Mamallapuram. So here it is, you are located the Karaikal, right? I hope you can see this, friends, right? This is called as Karaikal. And the location of Mamallapuram, next we will move for the location of the Mamallapuram. Here it is your location of the Mamallapuram, right? So I hope you are able to see, friends. If not, let me know in the comment sections. I'll zoom it, right? So next, friends, we will see further. Now we have done with the location part. Now we will go for some other details, right? Indian Meteorological Department Tropical Cyclone Intensity Scale. So according to the IMD, what are the Tropical Cyclone Intensity Scale? So in this categories will be sustained winds and 3 minutes average, right? So super cyclonic, whatever the super cyclonic they will call, it has a wind speed of more than 120, right, friends? 120, or else it has more than 221 km per hour, right? An extremely severe cyclonic storm, it is 90 to 119 knot or 166 to 220 km per hour, or else very severe cyclonic storm, it is 64 to 89 knot or 118 to 165 km per hour. A severe cyclonic storm, it is 48 to 63 knot or else 89 to 170 km per hour. So cyclone Nivar is located in this category, that is severe cyclonic category, right? Severe cyclonic category, because it is located from 100 to 110 km per hour. So here you can see this 89 to 117 km per hour, it is called as severe cyclonic conditions. Next, cyclonic conditions means it will be 63 to 88. Deep depression means 51 to 62 kilometers per hour. Next depression means 31 to 50 kilometer per hour. So these details you must get noted, friends, right? So you should not remember, you should not forget about this. So it is very much important chart, so you can remember this. Next we will see about the Southwest Indian Ocean tropical cyclone intensity scale. So for this very intense tropical cyclone means it will has more than 212 km per hour. An intense tropical cyclone, it has 116 to 212 km per hour. Tropical cyclone 118 to 165 km per hour. And tropical storm, it has 89 to 8. Let me. What? Yes, friends, it has 89 to 117 km per hour, right? Similarly, moderate tropical storm, it has 63 to 88 km per hour. Tropical depression 51 to 62, tropical disturbance less than 50 km per hour, right? So I hope you understood, friends. So to remember this, what you need to do is write it at least 15 times, right? At least 15 times, right? At least 15 times you will get noted and you will never forget in your lifespan of time, right, friends? So next we will see about a tropical cyclone genesis requires 6 main conditions, right, friends? So here it's a direct question in any kind of competitive examinations, friends. It says what are the conditions they need to develop a cyclone. So there are the mainly 6 conditions, friends, right? So the first condition is it needs sufficiently warm sea surface temperature. The sea surface temperature should be at least 26.5 degrees centigrade. Second condition is atmospheric instability. It should be instability, right? There should be an instability in the atmosphere. Third one is high humidity in the low to middle levels of the troposphere. High level of the humidity, it requires humidity, right? So humidity, next instability, next surface temperature should be at least 26.5 degrees. Next one is enough Coriolis force. This enough Coriolis force to develop the low pressure centers. So how it will be developed? It will be developed by the winds, friends, right? It will be developed by the winds. I will explain you this in other video. Next is a pre-existing low level focus or disturbance, and finally low vertical wind shear, right? Low vertical wind shear. Here it is a disturbance it needs. So these 6 factors which are majorly required for develop the cyclonic conditions in any kind of spot or place, right? So say, friends, first of all, it will warm moist air moves the ocean. Warm moist air moves over the ocean in this format. It will move. Second one, it will evaporate. The water vapor rises into the atmosphere. Third one, as the water vapor rises, it cools and condenses into the liquid droplets. It will form the liquid droplets. It will form droplets. Fourth one, condensation releases heat into the atmosphere, making the air lighter, right? The final step is the warm air continues to rise with moist air from the ocean, taking its place, creating more winds, right, friends? And by this, the cyclonic conditions will be formed, right? So next we will see about the National Disaster Response Force, which will be in the focus of the managing disaster management, right? The apex body of the disaster management in India is the National Disaster Management Authority, right? National Management Disaster Authority. It was formed in 2006 by the Act of 2005. Next, the chairman of the NDMA is the Prime Minister. The responsible for the disaster management in India's federal system is that of the state government. The meaning of the statement is, I'll let you know here. In center, NDMA will be there, right? In center, NDMA will be there, and in state, SDMA will be there. SDMA should be there. In district, the district disaster management authority should be there, right? So in this format, it will, the head of this all kind of bodies is NDMA. That is the meaning of the federal system, is that of the state government, right? The responsibility for the disaster management in the India's federal system. India's federal system is that of the state government. Means federal system means there will be a center and state, right? This is called the federal system, and it is saying that in the center, in the federal system, that is the state government, means this is a federal, and here the state government is responsible for creating the SDMA and DDMA, right friends? DDMA, that is District Disaster Management Authority. The nodal minister in the central government for management of the natural disaster is the Ministry of Home Affairs, right? Ministry of Home Affairs. Just remember this, what kind of ministry will come under the pressure when the disaster occurred in the country, that is Ministry of Home Affairs. Next we will see, when the calamities has been came, NDMA will come into the picture, and it will suggest communication, air and other assets which are available and needed, and it will request to the government to induce this kind of things in the disaster places. Like it will also request to the government to provide paramilitary forces, right? Armed forces, central paramilitary forces, state request, right friends? And the head of the NDRF is designed as the Director General, and who will be the Director General? It will be the IPS officers, right? IPS officers on the deputation, right? So next we will see friends, it is regarding the NDRF, right? It is formed in 2006. It is formed in 2006 by the Act of 2005, in the National Disaster Management Act of 2005. Next, the jurisdiction will be Government of India, headquartered in the New Delhi, and the motto of the NDRF is saving lives and beyond. Ministry responsible is Ministry of Home Affairs, and the current Ministry of Home Affairs is Amit Shah. Next, agency executive, that is, who is the present Director General, that is SN Pradhan, right? He is an IPS officer, the parent department, and it is called as a Director General, right friends? And at the state level, the State District Disaster Management Authority has been created under the chairmanship of the Chief Minister of the state, which has been asserted by the State Executive Committee. And at the district level, it will be simultaneously go for the District Management Authority. District Disaster Management Authority have been created, right? And now finally we will see about the SFDRR. So what is this SFDRR? That is Sendai Framework for Disaster Risk Reduction, and India is a signatory for this Sendai Framework Disaster Risk Reduction, right? That sets the target for disaster management, right? It will set the targets for the disaster management. That means it will directly set the target for the NDRF, National Disaster Response Force, right friends? So next we will see about the little bit detail about the SFDRR, that is Sendai Framework Disaster Risk Reduction. So this is FDRR is for the period of 2015 to 2030, and it outlines the 7 clear targets and 4 priorities. So what are the 4 priorities we will see, and for what purpose? It is to prevent new and reduce existing disaster risk, friends, right? So what are the 4 priorities we will see here? Understanding disaster risk, understanding the disaster risk. Second one is strengthening disaster risk governance to manage this disaster risk, right? Third one is investing in disaster reduction for resilience, and fourth one is enhancing disaster preparedness for effective response to build back better in recovery, rehabilitation and constructions, right friends? So we will see about that. Next, the framework was adopted at the third United Nations Conference on Disaster Risk Reduction in Sendai, Japan, March 18, 2015. So when the SDSFDRR was adopted, that is in March 18, 2015. So it is most important, friends. Please remember about this, right? So I hope you understood, friends. If you have any doubt, let me know in the comment section, friends. And please do like, share, follow, comment, and turn on the notification bell to get the instant notification, friends, right? So that is it for this video, friends. Thank you very much. Have a great day.